prosecutors have charged 37-year-old Alonzo Mingo with 3 counts of second-degree murder today.
A call with no one on the other end. KARE 11 obtained police scanner audio from Broadcastify.
Still an open line, not hearing anything.
According to court documents, there were several cameras inside the home that captured what happened.
We have multiple people down, and we do not have a weapon on scene yet.
January 26, 2024. It's a Friday afternoon in Coon Rapids, Minnesota, a quiet suburban community just north of Minneapolis. At around 12:24 p.m., Anoka County dispatchers receive a 911 call. Nobody speaks on the line, but in the background, dispatchers can hear the sounds of a disturbance, a woman's voice. Officers from the Coon Rapids Police Department, Blaine Police Department, and the Anoka County Sheriff's Office are dispatched to a single-family home on the 200 block of 94th Avenue Northwest. When they arrive, they find a scene of unimaginable horror. 3 people are dead. 2 small children, both under the age of 5, are found unharmed but traumatized inside the home. But the strange part of the whole story is that their killers were dressed as UPS workers. Shannon Patricia Jungwirth was 42 years old and married to 39-year-old Mario Alberto Trejo Estrada. Patricia had a 20-year-old son from a previous relationship named Jorge Alexander Reyes Jungwirth. Shannon and Mario would have 2 sons, a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. The family lived in a nice home in Coon Rapids in a relatively quiet part of Minnesota. It was abnormal for police to reach the neighborhood, and even more abnormal to have any violent crimes taking place. Jorge Reyes Jungwirth was a young man full of life. Friends described him as someone who always had a smile on his face and was devoted to his family. He worked for a tree removal service and had recently gotten a new puppy that he absolutely adored. One of his closest friends, Jack Heidelberg, who had known Jorge since the 4th grade, would later say that he didn't have a single picture on his phone where Jorge wasn't smiling. He was just a happy guy, excited to grow up. Another friend, Will Giddison, who had known Jorge since they played football together in high school, said that Jorge always put everyone else before himself. Jorge was supposed to be at work that January 26th morning. The previous day, his boss had given him January 26th off since business was slow. Jorge had texted his friends that night saying how he was happy that he didn't have to go to work on Friday. Unfortunately, though, that unexpected day off would prove to be a tragedy. At some point around noon, a 911 call would be made, but when dispatchers picked up, nobody answered. Attempting to figure out what was going on, the dispatchers would press for questions, but all they could hear were shouts, signs of a struggle, and an obvious disturbance in the residence. When officers arrived at the home, they found Mario Trejo Estrada dead in the doorway of the residence with at least 1 gunshot wound to the head. A broken firearm magazine and several loose rounds of ammunition were discovered near his body. Jorge was found in an office area of the home. Shannon was discovered in a bedroom, also shot in the head. The 2 young children were found inside, physically unharmed, but witnesses to an unspeakable crime. Investigators quickly discovered that the home was equipped with multiple surveillance cameras, both inside and outside the residence. A pole camera mounted across the street. From the home, it also captured footage of what occurred. The footage showed a navy blue Nissan Altima pulling up and parking in front of the residence at 12:21 p.m. 3 men exit the vehicle. 2 of them are wearing clothing similar to UPS delivery driver uniforms, and one is carrying a cardboard box as if he were delivering a package. They approach the front door, and Shannon lets them inside, believing a legitimate delivery is being made. However, the 3 men outside are not delivery drivers. They are armed robbers looking for money. One of the men holds Shannon and Mario at gunpoint, demanding to know where their money is hidden. The attackers force the victims to the floor and begin pistol whipping the men while demanding money. Shannon is forced to open credenza drawers as they continue their search. At some point during the attack, Shannon was able to secretly dial 911 on her phone and leave the line open. Dispatchers heard the sounds of the disturbance, including a man yelling about money. The entire incident lasted approximately 7 minutes. By the time the attackers left the home at around 12:28 p.m., all 3 adults were dead. Within hours of the murders, police issued an alert for the Nissan Altima captured on the surveillance footage. The vehicle was registered to a 37-year-old Fridley man named Alonzo Mingo. Later that same day, officers spotted Mingo driving the vehicle in Fridley near his residence. When they pulled him over, Mingo threw his cell phone out of the window during the traffic stop. The phone was retrieved by officers. Inside the vehicle, police found a backpack containing UPS delivery uniform shirts and a vest that matched what was seen on the surveillance footage. When questioned by investigators, Mingo made several claims that would quickly be proven false. He told police that he had never worked at UPS, that he did not own a cell phone, and that he had been at his residence in Fridley all day. However, UPS confirmed that Mingo had been a seasonal employee with the company, with his employment ending in mid-January, just days before the killings. Witnesses also told police that Mingo had been seen leaving his residence around 10 a.m. on the day of the murders. Fingerprints were lifted from the cardboard box that the assailants had been seen carrying into the home. Analysis at the Midwest Regional Forensic Laboratory confirmed that the prints matched Mingo's. Mingo was charged on January 29, 2024, with 3 counts of second-degree murder. His bail was set at $5 million. But Mingo had not acted alone. The surveillance footage clearly showed 2 other men participating in the home invasion. On February 2, 2024, investigators gained access to additional video from the surveillance cameras inside the home, and the footage revealed even more disturbing details about what had occurred that afternoon. The investigation led police to 2 brothers from Minneapolis, 31-year-old Demetrius Shumpert and his younger brother, 19-year-old Omari Shumpert. Cell phone data records placed both brothers, along with Mingo, at Demetrius's home on the morning of the killings, suggesting they had gathered there before heading to the Coon Rapids residence. Omari Shumpert's cell phone records also showed he was in the area of the victim's home from 11:03 a.m. until 12:16 p.m. The next activity on his phone started about 20 minutes later on Highway 169 and 109th Avenue North in Brooklyn Park. At that same time, Mingo's vehicle was captured on state traffic cameras in the exact same location. Surveillance video from inside the home showed both Shumpert brothers attacking the victims. The footage captured Omari Shumpert hitting Mario Estrada near the front entryway. When Estrada fought back, Omari shot him in the head. Along with this was the presence of DNA that further linked Omari to the crime scene. Investigators tested the loose rounds of ammunition found near one of the victims' bodies, and the DNA matched Omari Shumpert. His genetic material was also identified on a firearm magazine recovered at the scene. On February 13, 2024, both Shumpert brothers were arrested in Minneapolis in a joint operation involving the Coon Rapids Police Department, the Anoka-Hennepin Narcotics and Violent Crimes Task Force, the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office, the Minneapolis Police Department, and the Anoka County Sheriff's Office. When interviewed by police, both brothers denied any involvement in the killings. Omari claimed that his cell phone had been stolen by a homeless person a couple of months earlier. He said he hadn't been to Coon Rapids in over a year and had no memory of January. He also claimed that his brother Demetrius was too old for him to hang out with and that they weren't close. He said he had never seen Mingo before. Demetrius told investigators that he hadn't gone to work on January 26 because he was taking care of his baby at home. He denied ever being at the Coon Rapids home and claimed he hadn't seen Mingo in about a month and hadn't heard from his brother recently. Both brothers were charged with 3 counts of aiding and abetting second-degree murder. Their bail was also set at $5 million. While the criminal complaints against all 3 defendants did not explicitly state a motive for the killings, search warrant documents released in the case revealed what investigators believed was the driving force behind the deadly home invasion. According to a search warrant affidavit, Mario Estrada had been under investigation by a Twin Cities drug task force since October 2023, months before the killings. A tracker had been placed on Estrada's Toyota Tundra, which showed he made frequent trips from his apartment on St. Paul's East Side to storage units and to the Coon Rapids home where he also stayed. On December 27, 2023, approximately 1 month before the murders, Estrada had rented a storage unit in Golden Valley under the false name Brian Webster. A swab of the unit's lock and handle tested positive for several drugs. Hours after the triple homicide, investigators searched that storage unit and seized several bags of a variety of illicit drugs. A law enforcement database used to track financial transactions revealed that both Trejo Estrada and Shannon Jungwirth had wired large amounts of money multiple times to various individuals in Mexico. According to task force members, this pattern of wire transfers was consistent with drug trafficking operations, sending proceeds back to source countries. Friends of Jorge Reyes Jungwirth emphasized that he was not involved in any of his stepfather's alleged activities. There was no mention or implication in any court documents that Jorge had any connection to drug trafficking. He was simply a young man who happened to be home on his unexpected day off when the killers arrived. In April 2024, a grand jury indicted all 3 defendants on upgraded charges of first-degree murder. Mingo was charged with 6 counts of first-degree murder on top of his original 3 counts of second-degree murder. The Shumpert brothers were also indicted on 6 counts of first-degree murder each. Prosecutors indicated they were seeking aggravated prison sentences, citing the fact that the victims were treated with particular cruelty and that the crimes were committed in the presence of 2 minor children who witnessed at least one of the killings. The 3 defendants would be tried separately. Alonzo Mingo's trial began on August 11, 2025. The prosecution presented the surveillance footage showing Mingo holding victims at gunpoint and demanding money. The video captured Mingo fatally shooting Shannon Jungwirth at point-blank range in the bedroom while the 2 small children were nearby. Mingo was also responsible for shooting Jorge Reyes Jungwirth. On August 29, 2025, the jury found Mingo guilty on multiple counts, including 4 counts of first-degree murder, 1 count of aiding and abetting first-degree murder, and 2 counts of second-degree murder. Under Minnesota law, a conviction on any first-degree premeditated murder charge mandates a life sentence without the possibility of parole. On September 11, 2025, Mingo was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Demetrius Shumpert's trial began in early November 2025. The prosecution presented the surveillance footage, DNA evidence linking him to the scene, and cell phone records placing him at the home at the time of the murders. Forensic testing identified his DNA on a firearm magazine and on cartridges found with one of the victims. The defense maintained that Shumpert was innocent, arguing that the state's case was circumstantial. However, the jury was unconvinced. On November 19, 2025, Demetrius Shumpert was found guilty on all 9 counts, including 3 counts of first-degree premeditated murder, 3 counts of first-degree murder while committing a felony, and 3 counts of second-degree murder. The final trial was for Omari Shumpert, which began in December 2025. The prosecution presented the surveillance footage showing Omari repeatedly attacking Mario Trejo Estrada before shooting him in the head when he fought back. DNA evidence linking him to ammunition found at the scene was also introduced. On December 12, 2025, the jury found Omari Shumpert guilty on 10 of his 11 counts, including 2 counts of first-degree premeditated murder and 3 counts of first-degree murder while attempting to commit aggravated robbery. He was acquitted of 1 count of first-degree premeditated murder. In January 2026, both Shumpert brothers were sentenced. On January 8, 2026, Demetrius Shumpert received 3 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole for the murders of Shannon Jungwirth, Mario Trejo Estrada, and Jorge Reyes Jungwirth. The following day, on January 9, 2026, Omari Shumpert also received 3 life sentences without the possibility of parole. Neither brother will ever be eligible for release. The murders sent shockwaves throughout the community and the neighborhood. A candlelight vigil was held for Jorge as well. As for the 2 children that had witnessed the horrifying attack, they are being raised by family members. Alonzo, Demetrius, and Omari will spend the rest of their natural lives behind bars. In the span of just 7 minutes, they destroyed an entire family and traumatized 2 innocent children. The crime was horrific and brazen, and a violent home invasion that shocked many. It remains one of the most disturbing criminal cases in the Coon Rapids area.
Shamsuddin Dahir and a friend shared these videos. SWAT officers outside the front door, heavy-duty police vehicles filling the streets.
2 young children under the age of 5 were also in the home but were not physically hurt.